not so good is that 80% of those children who end up continuing in foster care, and some of those they progress on to we call TPR, termination of parental rights, and those children are available for adoption. Over 80% of those children have more than 3 placements, and many of them multiple placements. In other words, they've been moved around in the foster care system, and sometimes because of situations where we have some foster families, but the good news is that we're not overloading foster families as once they were when I first came into the system, when I was a worker back over 20 years ago. But many times we're asking and begging foster parents to take children where they may have the licensed slots available to take, say, 5 children, but they really should be taking on maybe 2 or 3. See, but many of the families, matter of fact, families who are fostering children, and those who are adopted, these are very special people. But one of the things I want to talk to you about is that you have some of those very special people in your congregations. We know that. I just refuse to believe that there are not more African American families that are willing to step up to the plate. But as Deacon Leverett, Judge Leverett mentioned, is that the fact is the message has to get out there. I think that the call has done a tremendous job of getting out a message, but we've got to further that message more into the African American community, because many times that there's a shortage of those families that are stepping up who are able to qualify for fostering. Being a foster parent is not a job. It's not a second job. You're not going to earn any money. It's one of those jobs that it's one of those. It has to be a calling. It has to be that this is what you have been called to do, called to be, and recognize that your heart is there because you care about children and families. Now, I want you to understand also that our families, your families and your congregations can also play a part, even if they're not willing or feel like they're equipped to be a foster parent. There are many other ways that they can assist and help. They can be a foster parent support system to a family who is a foster parent. They can be mentors. They can be sponsors. One of our providers is sitting here, Stephanie, with Simone's house, and she has a lot of young ladies who are teenagers in that program. And those teenage young ladies, and many times as they transition or go into adulthood, they're needing sponsors. And a sponsor is someone who will mentor a teenager and work with them. We call it a transitional living plan, and come up with a plan to help them transition into adulthood, help them make sure that be a payee for them, make sure their bills are paid. If they go into some type of an independent living setting where we set them up in an apartment, oversee that. As a matter of fact, that's another area that your churches can get involved in. I just left a meeting. We're getting ready to rewrite the licensing regulations for transitional living and independent living. Transitional living plans should be working with children. Matter of fact, it starts at the age of 14, and we start teaching them about and pointing them toward what the state has to offer to help them transition into adulthood, such as educational resources. The state has, I don't have time to go through all of that, but I just want to share those are things that can help the teenagers as they point toward turning 18, and they can choose to stay in the system, in the foster care system, up to age 21. But there's a need for people to work with them. There's a need for someone to maybe open up a supervised living situation for those teens, those that reach the age of majority, 18 to 21, where you don't just turn them loose in an apartment, but someone's living there to kind of oversee them. And there's a great need for that. So